There is a moment that almost everyone has experienced. You're holding something you want, or maybe it's in your online cart. You look at the price, and deep down, you already know something. You know you probably shouldn't buy it. You know it's not necessary. You know it's going to affect your budget. But somehow, you still click buy. And for a moment, it feels good, exciting, rewarding, like you finally gave yourself something you deserve. But later, that feeling fades and something else replaces it: regret, stress, a quiet question in your mind. Why did I buy that? This isn't just about one purchase. It's not just about a bad decision, not just a moment of weakness. This is a pattern, a habit, a cycle that repeats itself again and again. At first, it looks harmless. One small purchase, then another. Nothing feels extreme. Nothing feels wrong. But slowly, it becomes something familiar, something automatic. People begin to spend without thinking too much, not because they're careless, not because they don't understand money, but because something deeper is happening, something psychological, something emotional, something that quietly shapes the way we spend. Because over time, the brain starts to connect spending with feeling better. Stress becomes a reason to buy. Boredom becomes a reason to scroll. A long day becomes a reason to reward yourself. And without realizing it, spending stops being about need and starts becoming about emotion. That's how the habit forms. Not in one big moment, but in small repeated actions until it becomes a default response. Feel something, buy something, and that's where the trap begins. Because the more it repeats, the easier it becomes. The faster the decision happens, the less you question it. Until one day, you're not even aware of it anymore. You just do it. That's what makes it dangerous because it doesn't feel like a problem. It feels normal. It feels deserved. It feels like part of your lifestyle. But underneath that, something else is happening. Money is slowly leaving. Savings are slowly shrinking. Opportunities are slowly disappearing. And the worst part is, it doesn't happen all at once. It happens quietly, little by little, over time. This is what I call the spending trap. Not a single mistake, but a system of habits. A loop that keeps repeating. Spend, feel better, repeat. And until someone becomes aware of that loop, it continues without them even realizing how much it's costing them. Let's imagine someone named Mia. Mia works hard. She has a stable job. She earns enough to cover her expenses. From the outside, everything looks fine. But inside, she often feels tired, stressed, sometimes even overwhelmed. After a long day, she opens her phone. She scrolls. She sees something she likes. A dress, a gadget, something small, something affordable. And she tells herself, it's okay, I deserve this. So she buys it. And in that moment, it feels like relief. Like she finally gave herself something after a long day. But here's what happens next. A few days later, another stressful day. Another scroll, another purchase, and slowly, a pattern begins to form. Stress, spend, temporary relief. Repeat. It becomes a loop, a habit that feels harmless. But over time, it starts affecting her finances. Not because of one big purchase, but because of many small ones. Why people buy things they can't afford? The truth is, people don't always spend because they need something. They spend because of how they feel. Sometimes it's stress. Sometimes it's boredom. Sometimes it's the need for reward. And sometimes it's the desire to feel better. Buying something creates a short moment of happiness, a quick emotional boost, but that feeling doesn't last. And when it fades, the spending often continues. The illusion of I can afford it. Another reason people fall into the spending trap is this thought: I can afford it. The price doesn't seem too big. The monthly payment feels manageable. The purchase feels justified. But what people don't always see is the accumulation. One small purchase becomes another, then another, until suddenly money becomes tight again. And the cycle continues. The influence of social media. Today, spending has become even more psychological because every day we are exposed to other people's lives. Better homes, better vacations, better lifestyles. And without realizing it, we start comparing. We start feeling like we are behind. So we try to catch up, not by building wealth, but by spending. Buying things to feel successful, buying things to feel equal, buying things to feel like we belong. The real cost of overspending is not just money, it's stress, it's pressure, it's the feeling of always catching up. Because every unnecessary purchase takes away from something else. Savings, investments, future opportunities, and slowly, it delays financial freedom. But something changes the moment a person becomes aware. The moment they realize, I'm not just spending money, I'm responding to emotions. That awareness creates space, space to pause, space to question, space to decide differently, a different choice. Instead of reacting emotionally, they begin to slow down. Before buying something, they ask, do I really need this? Or am I just trying to feel better? And sometimes, that simple pause is enough. Enough to break the cycle. Enough to change the habit. The spending trap is not about being irresponsible. It's about being human. We all want comfort. We all want reward. We all want to feel better. But when spending becomes the way we deal with emotions, it can quietly control our financial life. Because in the end, money is not just about numbers, it's about behavior, it's about habits, it's about understanding why we do what we do. If you enjoy conversations about money, financial psychology, and the hidden patterns that shape our financial lives, welcome to the Asian Broke Diary. Because sometimes the biggest financial change doesn't come from earning more, it comes from understanding yourself and making one better decision at a time.